All right, so the new emulator with the more disk space started up. Let me capture this again. There we go. Cool. So, let's try running this again. See if this makes a difference. I am suspecting it probably won't. And I think there are a couple more things we can try debugging, but unfortunately we got pretty sidetracked here trying to just get this emulator to download the podcast files. So if we don't have any success on that soon, we will, I think, probably just wrap up for today and try to come back to this bug another time. And yeah, next week we'll be back to doing Elm again at the normal time. Probably doing something scary for Halloween, I guess. All right, so while that's building, we can look for what happens when we get the initial request to start downloading something. That was interesting. So at the bottom of here, we had the onReceive. So let's put our breakpoint in here again. And we were looking at the heartbeat action. So the download episode action, I think, is what the playlist fragment sends. Let's double check that. Yeah, the download episode action. So we should get that when we first request to download something. And then in there, return true if the download request was dispatched to the download manager. Otherwise, return false. Okay, so this, I think we want to debug in there. And, whoa, I just saw a bunch of errors go by on here. Or maybe I didn't. Okay, that must have been from some other window. Maybe the Gradle window. Let's see, is there a console in here? Oh yeah, this. Illegal enum value in reading enum. Huh, but everything seems fine. Okay. Well, let's see what's happening in this breakpoint. We got an update queue message, so I'm just going to let that continue. We got this get running count message. I'll let that continue too. Then we got an update queue message again. The same thing. We're getting a bunch of update queue messages. And a download heartbeat message. Okay. So it seems like we get the download heartbeats all the time. I'm just going to move the breakpoint in here into the download episode action. And let's see, are there any others that are relevant? Update queue action maybe, and action notification clicked, and action download complete. Yeah, let's just leave all of those as breakpoints. And power connected, this app has a feature where when you plug in your phone, it can start downloading. So it doesn't download things when you are wasting battery. Maybe that setting is set right now? Yeah, I guess we'll see in the code in a minute. Okay. So let's continue the debugger. And let's add one of our favorite podcasts. Let's see, did this hit a breakpoint again? No, okay, it was just slow. So let's go into the podcast search. We will let it prepare the database. And meanwhile, we can start looking in the download function about what happens. Okay, deletes an old download when it restarts. That's nice. Then it makes a request for the download manager. Okay. All right, and this finished loading, so whoops. I was typing in the wrong window. I meant to type in the emulator. Let's get Song Exploder. And okay, so we got an update queue action. So queue must refer to the list of episodes for each podcast or something like that. I think we'll just continue on that one. And the get running count, that doesn't seem to be useful to us anymore. Okay, so here it's actually downloading the podcast feed. Or is it actually downloading the MP3? I guess we'll find out. So let's step through this and see what's happening. So we get the storage. The storage is available. Then we're going to define the file. Okay, so this is where the file is going to get saved to. So this is one thing we wanted to find out originally. I'm assuming this 1B16 is a random username that is used for the emulator. And then this Android is generally a folder that you'll see in the root like user workspace on an Android phone. And then there's data, and then our application identifier, files, podcasts, and then the episode ID as we discovered earlier. All right, so let's find out if the file exists. It does not. Great. Then we're going to create a download request with the URL, the title. Interesting. Some settings. Maybe we should look up the documentation for Download Manager and see what all these settings do. And let me hide that tab. Okay. So we have a set allowed over meter. Set whether this download may proceed over a metered network connection. Okay. So that might be something that possibly stops a download. What is the value here? Download network is Wi-Fi only. Oh, okay. So that, I bet that's the problem here. The app is default configured to only download when we're on the Wi-Fi network. Let's see if I can scroll this. If it equals any, or if it equals non-roaming. Yeah, that's not the case. And right now the emulator is configured to simulate being on, or to tell apps that the device is on the cell network. Okay, I am feeling pretty confident about that, so I'm just going to continue the debugger. And actually, yeah, okay, it's going. So I'll wait. And then, how do we get to the settings for the app? I guess this gear. And download network type, we want to use, sure, we can use the cell network. Okay. And okay, it shows right here the episode cache. Okay. I'm trying to click we hit the debugger breakpoint. Okay. So we got this action download complete message. Great. And we got a whole bunch of other messages. Okay. And okay, so now in the status bar, the episode is downloading. Okay, so that was the problem this whole time. The app comes default set to only download if you're on Wi-Fi. All right, so continuing. We have a new episode. We can add it to our playlist, and now we have it marked to play. So we can get rid of all of these download receiver breakpoints. And now we can return to this breakpoint where we're going to tap the play button, and we should hit here and see it play. And we do. Great. So what we get is the service should not be null. It's not. And it's not currently playing anything. Oh, well it is now. Somehow that episode got selected at the bottom. So it's going to resume it. Okay. And oh, great. Okay, and it actually plays through the emulator. Cool. And now I'm going to pause it. Alright. Looks good. So what's our next step? So far, we've spent most of today setting up the Android SDK and Android Studio, getting the project to compile, upgrading Gradle, creating an emulator, waiting for Android things to download, and then debugging what turned out to be a trivial problem of just that I hadn't configured the preferences to download while we were on the cellular network. And now we are actually in a place where we can try to debug this download problem. So yeah, before we do that, why don't we take a quick break and listen to a song for a minute. I need a couple seconds to clear my head after all of our debugging. So enjoy the music for a moment, and we'll be back in about 2 or 3 minutes.